Hey, what is up, viewers? Nazbrel fan Patrick Barner into video, and this is episode 6 of Studying Lincoln Barzay, and today's verse comes out of Proverbs 4, verses 10 through 13, and here's what it says. Listen, my son, accept what I say, and the years of your life will be many. I instruct you in the way of wisdom, and lead you along straight paths. When you walk, your steps will not be hampered. When you run, you will not stumble. Hold on to instruction. Do not let it go. Guard it well, for it is your life. And that's that verse means. So this morning, let's get into it. It's time for another Royal Rangers recap. And we're going to start in the book of Isaiah. In the book of Isaiah, the verse we're going to look at is chapter 26, verse 3. And last night was the start of another study that we did last night in church. I'll tell you what it is in a moment. Isaiah 26:3, here's what it says. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. Also, we're going to go now to the New Testament, and we're going to start in Matthew. Matthew chapter, let's see. We're going to do Matthew chapter 13. Matthew chapter 13, and the verse is verse 12. And here is what Matthew 13, verse 12 says. Here's what it says. It reads, whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have even what they have will be taken from them. Also in Matthew 28:20, and in Matthew 28:20, here is what the verse says. In Matthew 28 and verse 20, here's what it says. And teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you, and surely I am with you always to the very end of the age. Now we're going to jump over to Luke. We're going to start in chapter 12, and we're going to read verse 32. In Luke 12, verse 32, and here is what the verse says. Do not be afraid, little flock, for your Father has been pleased to give you the kingdom. Also I don't think there's more. Now we're going to go to Acts. In Acts chapter 2, verse 25, that's the next verse. And in Acts chapter 2, in verse 25, and here is what the verse says. It reads, David said about him, I saw the Lord before me, because he is at my right hand. I will not be shaken. Therefore verse 20, just verse 25. David said about him, I saw the Lord always before me, because he is at my right hand. I will not be shaken. Now we're going to go to Romans. And in Romans 12, verse 2, here is what the verse says. It reads, Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you'll be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. Now we're going to go to, I forgot a verse. Luke 16, verse 10, and Luke 16 in verse 10, here is what it says. It reads, Whoever cannot be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much, and whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. Now we're going to go to 1 Thessalonians. That's what the next verse we're going to look at. And in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, in verse 17, here is what the verse says. And it reads, Pray continually. And finally, Hebrews 11, verse 6. And here is what it says in Hebrews 11 in verse 6. Here is what it says. It reads, in Hebrews 11, verse 6, it reads, And without faith it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. And that is, that's all for the verse portion of Bible study. So last night we kicked up another Bible study, And this one is titled Practicing the Presence. And this was actually, I believe, mainly focused on prayer. And just some notes I just want to read you to get into it. First of all, the question of where to begin. And the first question is, of course, is this possible? And I just read you from Isaiah 26:3. We actually, what was really interesting about last night's Bible study, first of all, was we did an experiment. So what we did was, Rob actually did this. He actually, we actually participated. So what we did was, what we had to do was, we had to close our eyes for 30 seconds and try and focus on God. And it was a really fun experiment. If you never did that before, you gotta try it. It's really cool. Another translation of 1 Thessalonians 5:17. In the ESV version, it is pray without ceasing. That's the same thing as it says in my version. It says pray continually. Also, from Acts 2:25, I say the Lord always before me, or I saw the Lord always before me. That was from Acts. Here's another interesting thing. Our destiny is to be formed in His image, and to know Him. Yeah, to know Him leads to that destiny. That's basically what the meaning of this whole class is. A quote and a quest. So there's this interesting quote that Rob shared. Here's what it says. I have been a Christian for blank years. If the Holy Spirit is the master teacher, why am I still so dumb? And there's these questions. Is the Spirit not teaching? Or are we not learning? That's one of the important things. Also, searching. An invitation to search together. That was one of the things. Another thing. There's actually more of this. Yeah, an invitation to search together. And then also assuming His presence. In Matthew 28:20, I know I read this a few moments ago. But in ESV it reads, I am with you always to the end of the age. So that's assuming His presence. There's a lot more to this. Assuming His presence rather than His absence. That's one of the important things. Releasing all struggles to move yourself to where He is. Also, from a verse I forgot to read to you. This is from the ESV version. This is Psalm 138 verse 6. And it reads, For though the Lord is high, He regards the lowly, but the haughty He knows from afar. That's from Psalm 138 verse 6. And another thing is, let's see. Another thing. Also, I'm going to read this again. This is from the ESV version. Hebrews 11:6. It reads, Whoever would draw near to God must believe that He exists and that He rewards those who seek Him. This is number 2. Trusting His intention. Next one. Let's see. I'm sure there's more. Also from Luke 12:32, I know I read this earlier also. From the ESV version it says, It is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. That was another one. This one's a good one. Be a good steward of your. And Rob told us that he looked this thing up on the internet, and just some interesting things here. Be a good steward of your money. Be a good steward of your gifts. Be a good steward of your time. Be a good steward of your body. Be a good steward of your home. Once again, Luke 16:10 says, One who is faithful in a very little is also faithful in much, and one who is dishonest in a very little is also dishonest in much. And also from Matthew 13:12, I also read earlier, it reads, For to the one who has, more will be given, and he will have an abundance, but from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. There was also one more area to this. The truth God teaches you. That's one of the important things. I think there's more. Also, where does God teach us? That's another question. He teaches in our mind. As I just read to you from Romans 12:2, he says, "Be transformed by the renewal of your mind." Now, why? You don't know who you are, first of all. There's more. Yes. Also, we don't comprehend our importance to God because we do not grasp that. We do not take seriously what is going on in our minds, and we do not believe that God would be interested enough in us to actually operate within our minds and speak to us in our thoughts. That's another important thing. I believe there's more. Let me see here. Also, this interesting thing. So, in addition to what is going on, or what we're doing, let me actually read you the verse of the day for the day before I continue with this video. Just a quick verse I'm going to leave you with today. This is coming from Proverbs 16:9, and it reads, "In their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps." So, for this study on practicing the presence, one of the things that Rob encouraged us, he's not forcing us to do this. He's just encouraging us, is to make a prayer journal. And one of the points is use what you have, whether you have a notebook, a phone, but get a single location. Only write what matters. Rob actually said, don't write what you ate for breakfast or how your day went. Value what seems small. That's another interesting point. Another point is let it come naturally. Don't force it. Another one is review occasionally. And I keep at it. Watch little grow as you steward. Also, there's a book by Frank Loudback that Rob linked, and I'm gonna put the link down in the description of this video if you guys want to check out the book. I'm also gonna post it up on Discord for all you Discord viewers that are in my server. You guys can check these out also. And well, that's gonna do it for another Royal Rangers recap. And well, thanks for watching. As always, until next time, in every way, God's way is always the best way.